It
Even
went really
died
well.
already.
I'm not gonna lie, it felt a little bit weird that I was in here, so I'm sorry if it felt like I was trying to dominate any kind of calls on anything, but
I mean, you're still technically the raid leader, my dude. So.
which is why we're trying to have this conversation of what happens next.
Oh yeah.
Because I felt a little goofy.
I mean, that's what literally. That's actually what they do for like World First Down Retail. Is they have a 26 person who's not.
Oh yeah, it's been brought up. I'm sorry. There's no way I'm doing this.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
The
For an
rationality
extended
for
period of
priest is
time.
actually best in slot, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But for this priest, not holy.
Yeah, it's also
Well,
a
then
piss
You're
for
going to be
shadow.
going disc. Yeah, I'm not going to take it over a best in slot.
Yeah, but if it's for shadow too, then he can he won the roll. So
It's only 8:20. Why am I so old?
The rationality is disc and shadow piss. Yeah. So,
he won the
I'll
roll. He
just-
can have it.
Yeah, sounds good.
What am I doing in
Well, thank you
game?
guys. We had a lot of new faces in here tonight. A lot of people that, I mean, you guys showed up and pumped. It was a good raid overall. I hope you guys feel the same. I think
Mostly
there's a
tuning
lot of
in
good
because
personalities in
we're
this
gonna be
raid
having
now,
a meeting
and
regarding who
gonna
we're
make
gonna
it
be
work
promoting
for sure.
to run our like off raid,
Hell
second
yeah,
raid.
dude.
And I thought it would be educational
Merc, where you at?
or informational.
I'm still in. I'll just hop out.
Yeah, hop out. I'll give you the hood here.
Oh, I did. Oops.
Here you go.
Get away from me.
Are you is all the loot out, Shro?
This is so boring.
Yeah, just me and Matt are gonna roll for the dissemination for
I'll wait for all the pieces before I start like moving people around or anything.
So our off raid is called
It's
Ruby
just Flame
Raid.
Leviathan if you want to roll for it.
Ruby Raid, like Pokemon. I do Pokemon.
Matt.
And
thank you again for everyone that came
we
tonight.
are promoting
That was an L for me.
individuals to run it. We still want it to be an
Nice.
ongoing thing,
Right.
and
Great.
we need individuals to
I feel
help
like
us
there's
do
definitely
that.
a squad that can get immortal, so just need to focus up, execute.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hand in this quest and then I'll DE all this stuff here.
Yeah, sure, and then you can pop it into
So
the
technically,
bank.
Ruby Raid is somewhat new. I mean,
All
we
right.
made it like a month and a half ago,
People are starting to leave.
but it hasn't been.
Yeah, we're sending some people
finalized.
up to do our talk.
All right.
It has not
welcome.
been finalized.
Welcome.
I was
These
just
are.
moved against my will.
I'm gonna move. I need to see.
I was
that
just
the
moved
loot's
against
all
my
gone
will,
out. I don't
chat.
want to start dragging people before they
When
need
people
to
start
leave, but
dragging me, chat in Discord, I get
good to
insecure.
move
You know,
Zay
like
as well.
what? Someone just violated me though. Like, come on, man. Why you gotta move me though, man? Well, anyways, we're trying to get new leaders for Ruby.
Is that
Serious
everyone we want to
people.
bring up? That's like a lot of people.
Serious
I
people.
think it is.
So Ninja, Quickies, Tuba, you were the three on the survey that had mentioned interest in a leadership core. I want to bring Zay up because I think it's important that a main tank has a relationship with the leadership, and you know, you're going to be probably one of the primary voices in the raid, regardless of whether you're leadership or not. People need main tank calls and a relationship with that voice. And strats are going to probably depend on a little bit on yourself. I mean, obviously tonight I think everything went fairly well. I was here to be a little bit of a bridge.
Chat. I'm gonna get some
But the
background
real
stuff
question
soon, okay?
comes down to how does the Ruby team, which that's why I brought Ninja, Quickies, Tuba. I brought you guys up here, Kalari. Potentially, I know you said you didn't want to raid lead, but I think you have an important voice in your vocal, and I think you have good input. So I wanted you here.
Yeah, you could.
Obviously, I'm stepping away. Like I said last week, this team needs some kind of in raid, but there also has to be a
Should I
level of
bully
back
them,
end.
chat?
Like I
Be
said,
like,
I'll do the back
what
end
qualifications do you believe you
for a
have?
bit longer. Make sure it gets transferred over. But we've had a
kidding.
lot of new
Just kidding,
people
Chad.
come in, and there's
We need help.
some important back end work
These
to
people are
do,
godsends.
and I don't think it's necessarily solely my call to make those calls. We had a lot of people. I'd say Zai. Sorry, I know you corrected me. Zai.
Just call him X. Just call him X.
X. That there, I think there's a good amount of people that came here tonight that were from a guild that you had raided with previously. So you have reform with some of those people, and I don't know exactly how it stands because we had a lot of people absent this week, right? And that's what opened up a lot of spots for potential
Chat,
placements.
I'm gonna put this
And
on
that's
speakers.
where I say I don't know
wanna-
if I can make the final decision
I don't
on
want
who
this on my
stays
head
and
right now.
who is not rostered. I mean, we could do a Tuberina. You brought up a rotating bench potential, and this is where I want to kind of hear more about where Ninja, Quickies, Tuberina, Zai, Kalari, where you guys would potentially stand. I know that none of you guys said you necessarily want to raid lead in the sense that you don't want to be behind the scenes, forming rosters, making executive decisions on strategies and things like that. But you do have I mean, there's a lot of support from the Sapphire officer team, myself included. That I'm not. Right now I'm kind of a band-aid for a situation that we need to find a way that you guys can all kind of potentially make a decision on what kind of roster, what kind of loot, what kind of, all these things moving into Ulduar, what you guys are kind of looking for. I know this is like, I just said I wanted to meet, and I'm like kind of just blasted right away, like the main things I'm concerned about. But I'm also sitting here where it's like, I could make these decisions right now. I'm in a position to, but I don't think it's necessarily fair that I make these decisions if I'm stepping away from leading it. I think people that are in the raid have expressed interest in a primary role of the raid need to have a voice in. So at that point, I mean, I'll kind of open up the floor.
More
for you guys to
context.
say what you guys
Necro
think about leadership questions that
was
you
the
guys
individual
might
we
have,
left
or
in charge of
what
Ruby,
those kind of
and
things
he's
look
stepping
like
back
here.
because it's gonna take more time now with
And if I
Ulduar.
might steer the direction a little bit, I think like maybe we should just go through Ninja, Quickies, and Tuberina, and then maybe Zai. Briefly, just say what you would be willing to kind of take on as responsibility, and then I'll make a statement about like a potential solution after all that, and then see if you guys agree. So Ninja, what would you be looking kind of able to do?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm not good at is making calls like while we're in the raid because I'm just not the best multitasker, right? Like I'm trying to track, my rupture and slice and dice and then make calls as well. Like I'm just not good at that, but I am more than down to basically do everything else.
That's what we need is back
I
end
don't mind
work.
coming up with strats,
People that want to help with the back end.
figuring out roster, talking
Yeah,
to people and all that
roster,
good stuff.
recruiting.
Yeah,
That's
good
what we
with
need the most help with.
whatever.
So
Cool,
you'd
and
be,
so
that's good. So you'd be comfortable with like helping out with the back end, like recruitment and roster and everything, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that at all.
I love to hear that.
Beast.
I love to hear that.
See that chat?
Quickies,
Whenever you gotta talk, you gotta get a little
where do you
serious,
guys
you know?
stand on
They're
that?
like, yo, are you qualified for the position?
Been around
I'm not gonna lie, this is so
retail
over the
and
top
plasma
though.
for a while, so I've seen a lot of
It's World of Warcraft, baby.
World of Warcraft.
I typically am happy to help kind of just weigh in on pros and
Anything
cons of
about it,
whatever we
chat?
decide we want to do.
Maybe start again like
In general, I'm
stream going.
pretty flexible to when you're talking
game
about
buff?
loot systems or whatever. Like
I don't know.
I've seen pretty much all the ones that have been brought up. Or
Let me
all
think
the
about-
ones that have been brought up, so it's I don't have a
Trying to get-
strong preference, but
In better shape.
it seems like a lot of teams are loot council these days. As far as roster goes, as long as we're covering our buffs, I don't have a problem with having a shitload of death knights and warlocks. So if I could just get some of those guys to carry me to bosses die and hard moves and whatnot, and I'm a happy camper. As far as
For sure.
leadership stuff goes, though, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to help also weigh in on roster decisions or recruitment as well. I'm not at my computer 24/7, so I don't know if I'm the best for it, but I'm happy to just help out with that, and then also facilitating things for Raid, whether that's just giving my ideas in a channel where it's not like maybe taking toxic or you know what I mean, where there's like just a few people who are sharing their observations and trying to make the best decision together for the Raid.
Yeah, I respect that, and I mean, so I know you have your shadow priest too, which you said second main. You have 2 characters you play. Do you feel like, I mean, a leadership role would kind of split you too thin, or you just go and pump in your other raid, and raid days aren't too conflicting?
Yeah, I mean, since the raid days don't conflict, and I don't really do anything except for just do good at not dying in the other raid. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about how thin it might stretch me, but I'm not like I can always be direct about what I can and can't do if there's a question.
Yeah, and I don't think all of the officers necessarily have to put in the same amount of time. You can be, like you said, that sort of person to help come up with decisions, help make decisions, and things like recruiting and stuff that take more time can be left up to other people.
I mean, I'll speak for myself here. For the officer corps, there's 4 of us that were primarily Sapphire, and I took on Ruby. I'm maybe not the biggest voice for the Sapphire corps, but it's nice to have that an additional opinion on a certain thing. So if that's more what you're looking for, that's understandable. My eyes right now is I'm looking for just, I've kind of been doing, I'm not going to say everything for Ruby, but it's like right now the biggest thing after tonight, it's like Zai has a big enough voice. In raid, it sounds like he's comfortable doing some of the raid call outs. He doesn't want everything to fall on his shoulders, and I get that. That's part of the reason that I didn't have the time to keep doing this position. But for like tank call outs, raid leading, this is like, the way I'm looking at it is I'm trying to look at a multi-person, no person has the ultimate authority and is making everything, but I think that there needs to be a couple more voices than just myself, obviously, because I'm not going to be that voice for too much longer, about 2 weeks, potentially earlier, because I think the raid went fairly well, and I think
so
my voice
cringe.
being there was like,
He is so fucking cringe.
it was like an angel on the shoulder, or maybe in some cases the devil.
It ain't hard,
because,
chat.
Zai has his own way of doing it. And I tried to not
It's not
impede
hard.
on that, but I'm
Alright,
just
humans just like to
trying to be the
fucking
bridge between what we do and what they do.
oversell everything
Regardless,
that they do.
I think your voice is still important, Quickies, even if you don't want to, you don't want to be sitting there 100% of the time. I think you have a good voice in strategy or, roster placement and things like that. And we already kind of talked to you too, Brina. Maybe you've had a little bit more time to think and say, because we kind of came at you on Sunday. So if you have a little bit more you want to say, I want to open that for you.
Yeah, I don't think really, again, I'm really on sort of Ninja's level here of, I don't really want to be the one calling too much during raid. I feel like that's, should mostly be left up to the tank as long as he's comfortable with that. But in terms of all the back end stuff, I can definitely help out with, recruiting and, league decisions and strategy decisions and all of that.
Cool.
For sure. And then, just finish it out. We have another voice, Zai. Do you feel comfortable in that raid? Just voices? I think you did overall very well with mostly calling it.
Finish.
And especially because I'm sitting there and it's kind of like this weird knee trigger reflex that I kind of say some things, but I think overall you did well. And I mean, we have a few differences in what the things we do call and what the things we don't.
This is boring content. It
but
looks like,
I
but
can
it's
tell that you're comfortable in that
informational.
position. So, I mean, in
You
terms
gotta
of leadership,
review
I
your
think I
people.
in
This
my
is
message,
basically
I
an interview.
kind of talk to you. How do
You
you
think
feel
you're good enough
about
to
that,
be
Zay? Like, are you
a
good just
ranked official
being
in my
one of the
guild?
main voices
Then
in
go
Raid?
through the
Kind
trials
of,
and
tank
tribulations,
calls, it's
homeboy.
like, obviously that's you, but just a little bit, more
Some
focused
Hercules
on the
shit.
pace, doing the roadie checks, doing the pull timers, doing these kind of things. It's like
I need a better
I
chair
think that's an important thing for a
to
tank.
do
Do you
this.
feel okay in that?
Okay, I gotta
Oh
slow
yeah,
down.
I think, or I main tank for that last kill, the entire phase, this phase,
Longest goodbye ever.
and so Nax is.
What do you
like
mean by that,
second
chat? The longest goodbye
on the
ever.
topic of leadership, I did come over here with the expectation that there would be a raid leader. So I wanted someone to be, the voice of the entire raid that's steering the ship. So there aren't, 5 people saying things during fights on what we're doing. Which I kind of probably hyped up a bit more during the raid, trying to, direct things, which you probably heard. Obviously there's differences because, this is our first raid together. There's different people coming together for the first time tonight, so probably be a little bit of growing pains. But yeah, as my role, I did just kind of come over here to tank. I have no problem calling out like tank callouts, doing timers, polls, all that kind of thing. I'd rather there be someone, one person raid leading, one person doing the loot, one person pushing the raid along, which would probably be me as the tank. I feel that's much more concentrated and much more focused in that way instead of having 5 different people trying to lead the raid.
So how did you? Sorry, continue. Oh, I was just going to ask how he felt about tonight. Like, so with Madge doing the loot and you making some calls and stuff, like, was that what you were kind of expecting, or were you expecting to take somebody else to take more control over the raid?
Well, I didn't think that tonight's raid was going to be perfect by any means, because obviously, like you guys have said, this is our first time playing together. We've done things differently. Called some different things out during the raid tonight, like on SAF, that was a big one. I hadn't heard of that strategy before. How no one goes in front of the boss. Something like that. It's just things like that, how there's kind of back and forth between the strategies that we do. I'd rather just have one person say, this is it, this is the way we do things.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, the way Ruby has been, it's kind of been that was me, right? And I'm stepping away, but for lack of
We formed
better
this raid.
word,
We
it's
recruited this
my
raid.
word
We put it
goes.
together. I was
And
in
I
it.
don't
And
know
I
if
didn't
that
like the
was-
class I was
it
playing,
worked
so I left.
to an extent, but it doesn't.
And
It doesn't
homeboy
open
wants to
up
say,
that
me,
discussion
me,
because you
me.
guys
I
bring up
put
an
it
excellent
together.
point, because
No,
I've never done your
motherfucker.
guys'
You're just
strategy. I didn't
raid
even know
lead.
you could sneak around
But he is
to
important.
the side
I
like
don't
that.
mean to
I didn't-
undermine his
I didn't
value,
know
but
that.
just come on.
So that's why I
Ain't
think
that
it's
bad, man.
important that we have multiple voices. I don't know. I agree with what you're saying, that there shouldn't be 5-6 voices saying everything, but I think
I wonder what kind of loot system they're gonna want.
the importance is that you have a leadership core where you're hearing multiple opinions, multiple choices, multiple options, different things to go off of and build together.
See what they're thinking.
And that's kind of what I'm looking for. And then, I mean, at this point, it's basically what I've been seeing, and from the survey I sent out, which you did not see, Zay, since you're new, but everyone's kind of like, they're okay with helping with the leadership. They don't want to be that raid lead, which I kind of expected that I mean, it's a huge undertaking, but I think at the end of the day is that if we have a good core, there just has to be someone that's willing to put their voice out there and describe what that officer core is talking about. So it's not entirely on them to propel the raid one way or this way, that way. I think it's more that there just needs to be a voice that people are looking to say, well, this is what we're going to do on this fight. This is how we're going to do it. This is XYZ, this is the pace we're looking for. And
while it was 4 people deciding that, it's like it's one person that comes into the raid and says, you know, just follow me, listen to my voice. This is what we need. So like, I mean, Nax it's a hard comparison to Ulduar. After the one night I saw him PTR, it's a hard comparison because Nax is like, we went in there and you guys shit on it. Most of the fights, like, mechanics were irrelevant. Shit just died. And that's the way Nax is. But Ulduar is going to be a lot different. So, I mean, those tank calls and those strategy calls and, you know, describing these things to people is going to be very important. And that's, like, where I'm trying to figure out. Because I think, I mean, the people that I brought up here tonight, I don't think that there's going to be too much an issue figuring out, you know, this is what Ruby can handle. This is the way the chat's gonna go. But yeah, I definitely think that we can easily make a group of officers that we can come up with decisions and, you know, stick to them or whatever as a group. You know, we can have a private chat if something comes up or we need to change a strategy on the fly. We can, you know, have a quick discussion about it and then make that decision. So I think we can definitely come up with, like, I don't mind being that raid lead in the sense that, you know, I'll be the voice that voices the opinion of the officers for a strategy decision or something like that. I think more so just in my mind, what I think would work best is if they did those tank call outs. So, you know, when you're moving the boss or when the boss is casting something like that, I think works best when a tank does it. For everything else, looting, you know, all of that, I think the officer group can handle that.
Okay, so you go really quick, and then I'll jump in.
Just saying, like, also things like, you know, with deciding when to, if we're going to try for a hard mode or something like that, like, which ones we'll try first, which ones, you know, maybe when to say when and move on for the night on something. Those kinds of things are things everybody has a different opinion on, probably. And so I think, yeah, if we have like a private channel where we don't have to air those, like, things out in public, and we can come to, even if it comes down to a vote on some things, but like we can try and figure out so that way we can make a decision and then whoever wants to voice that decision so that there's not a ton to say.
You know, I'm honestly fine with you guys having another tank in this group take over the main tank role as well. Like, I have no problem with that either.
Okay, I'm gonna let. I want Shro has some things to say. So
just so we're staying focused, and we kind of, because I want to not take too long to kind of finalize this, or not finalize, but make a decision what we're going forward with. So I'm gonna make a statement, and I just want to see if you guys would agree. So, it sounds like Ninja, Quickies, and Tuberina, at least. If you guys are, I guess the statement I want to say is you three all are kind of interested in being part of leadership in the kind of same respect that basically me, Terror, Necro, and Drac are kind of working at it for Sapphire. So that means you all have a say in loot, helping out with roster when you have time, and for recruiting, and then probably any one of you can just start the raid. We might need to figure out who's going to be like more of the final say kind of person, potentially, is kind of the thing that it sounds like we're missing. And if you notice, I'm sharing my screen, I wrote down kind of a bit of notes for what's going on so far. And then I just wanted to also mention that the Ruby leadership, whatever we ended up figuring out, we'll have support from me, Dark Lord, and Necro in terms of like questions about loot, all of our like raid assignments and our strategies, and even like potentially being in raid quite a bit of the time, depending on our schedule, or if we're going to be part of it at all, something like that. Like, I don't know if I'm always going to be doing loot, for instance. So let me just kind of back up again and say, you do the Ninja, Quickies, and Tuberina, do you guys have any problems with like joining together to become like a council for loot? Not that it's going to be an LC thing, but like work together to decide on you three which loot system you want to do going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
And
like I said,
then,
I'm fine with even like announcing pre-fight, like, hey, this is a strategy. You know, this is what we're trying this week. Yada yada. What I'm just not good at, and not that I'm uncomfortable with it, is calling out like, hey, I need lust now. I need blah blah to do blah 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 during the raid. I'm just not a great multitasker. So
for sure. Okay,
Synergize
so
on that and say that I think that falls under what, assuming that's probably something Zay's more comfortable in what he said. Like those calls are easy tank calls, right? Those are lust now if it's lust off rip, or if it's lusting at 35% for warlocks, whatever it may be. Though it's like the tank is in the whole. We've gone down that rabbit hole. Is the tank's kind of mostly. They've got one job. They're
There's so
looking
many
at the
people
boss to
still in
watch
raid.
cast XYZ.
Oh, can you guys
So
see
it
me?
sounds like Zay,
Oh, snaps.
Zay, that's what you're willing
I left
to
it
make
kind of high,
that,
huh, chat?
that commitment.
My bad.
But
Yeah,
My bad,
basically,
chat.
what I was doing tonight.
I didn't mean to do that to
They
you,
got a problem
chat.
with me.
Okay.
yeah,
Don't
so if you have
forget.
any interest
you
in
exist.
being part of the loot decisions that being made, or interest in getting any register, like looking into or stuff like that, or is your main interest just tanking and doing your job as a tank?
Yeah, I don't think you need more than 3 people making those kind of choices. Actually, kind of when they came over here, I was kind of thinking you guys would just have the same structure as your other raid. That's why friend Chief Big Nuts came in to your raid.
Yeah.
And I figured it would just be set up the exact same way.
Well, and we want to leave the opportunity open. I don't know if all 3 of you guys that will be deciding what loot structure you want to do, if you truly want to do LC, but I was going to leave that bigger decision up to you guys. Maybe talk about it, and I can give you pros and cons with other systems if you're unfamiliar with other ones, but I'm sure you're all aware of a lot
what
of
does
them.
Sapphire do again? What is their?
We do
full
LC.
So I'm sharing my screen right now. I'll show you some stuff we have for Sapphire right now.
If you do your due diligence, LC is going to be your best option.
Yeah, so LC will take the most amount of time, and in my opinion, it gives you the best results if you put in that time. If you don't, and if there's some sort of corruption and like just favoritism, then yeah, obviously it's going to deteriorate. It's not going to be the best system. So this is kind of like our sheet. It's kind of, I don't know.
It's turned into a little bit more like key items, bare bones, but like
It's pretty messy.
Like 6-7 weeks ago, this shit was like dialed.
The right side is it stands for a guide as to which classes are going to receive prio on which items based on stat weights, high like percentage bonus increases from previous possible bis.
Importance of tank, importance of healers for this phase, stuff like that. So this phase, for instance, we really lowly rated tanks and healers, and we just pumped the DPS. It's probably not going to be the same thing in Old War. And so this is what we do. Yeah, and I don't know. We can talk about that maybe either in another day or at the end of once we figure out a couple more things about what system you guys want to do going forward. But we can also support with like the theory of like why something might be better than the other.
Yeah, I just figured that since I don't know how many alts there are of your main raiders that are in the Ruby raid, I just figured you guys would be comfortable with how things are ran already in the Sapphire raid.
For sure,
I
like
think
just like blueprinting and stamping out a whole nother Sapphire is like, it's kind of what we set out to do in a sense, just like a sister raid with all the same expectations, and we don't like try our very hardest not to leech players from one raid for the benefit of the other.
So each raid,
I'll step in there. That blueprint is absolutely there, but it is not a copy paste situation. There's many things to look at in that situation, and that's kind of why I went for the SR. I mean, I had pugs that I was bringing in XYZ, but you can take the same prio list. You can look at the right side, but the left side of who that's going to first, who you think is deserving. If you truly go for that LC.
I'm not even really.
That's where the complication comes in. Is we have been pugging a decent amount, so you can't do loot council when you're pugging a few people because those punks aren't going to get any loot, you know?
Correct, which is why henceforth, like now it's
So the way
possible.
we handle that as Sapphire is if you're trialing, and we try and get our, yeah, you're right. So if you pug, you have to compromise and say that these are a couple pieces that you technically would get like to roll against our raiders. That's what we have done in the past as a potential solution. But you're also going to notice like any system you choose, you know, if it's a point system like DKP or EPGP, that person who comes in, it's not going to work. If you do That's My Bis, it's a headache to solidify That's My Bis list for each person, and then having a new person come in, it doesn't make sense. So that's kind of why SR kind of is the fallback plan for any hugging. I'm comfortable in saying that at this point, though, Ruby is like, it's going to be pretty fleshed out because I think we're like even over numbers at this point.
Yeah, that's the hope. Is that if we're over numbers now, we can actually choose a real loot system. Otherwise, you know, most are gonna
The problem I say with is the same thing I had this week is we're over numbers, and I have never been there's no definitive bench or anything like that. So that's like something that would fall on you guys because Tuba, you mentioned to me today, you know, the potential of you have 28 to 30 rosters, but you have a rotating bench kind of thing. And that's kind of something that this officer corps that we're talking about, this leadership corps for Ruby, they would be in charge of that. Do you guys want that larger roster with a rotating bench? Do you want to focus on that? And that's why I said it's like, I can't necessarily make that decision at this point. I can keep doing what I've been doing for the raid. I can help you guys in that chat, and I can help, you know, provide the insight just as Magic, Shro, or Dark Lord. They can provide some insight, but I need to start taking my tendrils out of the raid because I'm not necessarily going to be there for the rest of the raid. And that's why this officer corps is very important, and we need you guys to kind of start making these decisions because I don't want to say it's your raid, but at this point, this is the raid that you guys are invested in, and we need those decisions to be made by people that are going to be long-term in the raid, seeing the benefits, seeing the fruits of those decisions.
From what I saw this evening,
Yeah, this is a good opportunity for now, like you said, with how many people are showing up at this point.
exactly. Not only that, it's beyond regular standards, right? The raid, I haven't seen any logs or anything, but it's definitely performing in 80 percentile plus. Like it's very surprising.
Tonight's raid was great. I mean, we've done a lot of these strats, but like things felt like they were dying really fucking fast tonight. Like from an outside perspective, shit felt like it was dying.
Yeah,
it was falling over.
So honestly, emulating Sapphire may not be the worst decision. All the information is going to be available to you. Me and Shro live in OCHA. We're typically writing up some sort of strat change or augmentation for specific bosses. We're looking up top parsing guilds and what strategies they're utilizing to kind of cheese mechanics. So if you ever wanted to partake, or the sheets are always going to be fully transparent. So I don't know, it will in certain ways be convenient to utilize like a copy paste pasta method. Obviously not tick for tack.
The names and the people are going to be what the variation is. You can look at the percentile increases for each class on a loot if you went down the loot council. And then, you know, for a raid strategy, you can look at what we're doing for raid strategy. And then it's as simple as comparing potentially raid DPS, right? You can see that in Warcraft logs. You can see what the requirement is. You can see how close or how much more you have it. So there's going to be a lot of, it's not like these things are just going to be entirely on you to decide. There's plenty of insight going into these raids. It's just there needs to be a little bit more from Ruby, from people that are in Ruby and how they want to see Ruby evolve and grow and develop.
Yeah, like I said, I just figured that things would be structured the same way as your Sapphire raid, you know? And I just really thought that there would be a set raid leader, someone, you know, steering the ship, pointing everyone in the right direction.
It sounds like that's the only variable we're missing here, right? We have 3 individuals who are willing to help with the back end. Zai is willing to be a voice, one of the 2 voices within raid. We need one more.
You need an overall leader. That's what I'm thinking.
And yeah,
Yeah, it does sound like that's the case. So,
I think, like Quickie said, like Quickies doesn't have a problem doing it. I don't have a problem doing it. I think it should still be, a group decision with stuff, but
okay to discuss, but there should always be someone making the final decision.
yeah, and I think really when it comes down to the actual final decision, like if there's three of us, we can take a vote, so we don't really have to like have one person override two people,
Yeah, it's just that one person, disseminates the information.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that is. It sounds as simple as that is someone, but you have to find someone that's willing to do that.
Yeah, and really, I mean,
we're doing it like my main. To full disclosure, obviously, this was me. That was who I was to Ruby. I can't do that moving forward. I just doesn't line up. So I need to find the way to do that. And currently, my best option is finding multiple voices that can converse, find a way to make that happen, find a way to bring these strategies to the raid. To me, if it's Tuberina, Quickies, Ninja, whoever it is that just says at Ruby, this is what we're doing this week. If you guys all have that position in that Ruby, and obviously it should be consistent, but I don't think it's necessarily there has to be one specific person that's like my word is law. I don't think that's the case. I think having more people pushing towards whatever they think is going to work and voting and making that the discussion, and then one person bringing that to the raid.
Yeah, I'm not talking about it like taking like a ton of time too. The main thing is like, we can prepare for certain things. There's certain things we're gonna have to react to, and so having like comms for that aren't necessarily out in the public is probably not a bad way to approach it. Coming to a decision quickly, and also realizing that some things maybe we just set aside and talk about after raid, where there's some things that need to be addressed right away. I think that takes a little bit of time to get a feel for, but
Yeah, that could always happen outside of raids. You can discuss things beforehand in the group, and then you have that person making, decisive decisions during the raid.
Yeah.
That's
that makes
already,
sense.
that's the group decisions being made.
Yeah, if we designate
person.
If we can designate one person that can kind of take point on those things, but then, certainly like as we get more familiar with one another, we can start to calibrate that a little bit.
The easiest kind of like methodology here approach is going to be who's the most knowledgeable for the phase to come.
Yeah, you would definitely need someone who knows all the encounters.
Exactly.
Who knows classes, spec.
And again,
things like that.
If you ever wanted to sit in and just learn, we could you could basically just copy paste everything Stroh's thinking, what he's going to be thinking he has to call, and you could learn from each other.
I mean, how is your structure in Sapphire at this moment? Do you guys have a raid leader?
Yeah, it's Stroh. Stroh is basically our voice.
Yeah, basically what I'm basically the raid leader in sense that I don't know. I make sure that people are like I basically tell Necro these days, let's do a ready check, or like you're the person doing the pace, and then if something's not to my liking in his wheelhouse, I'll tell him, slow down, speed up, wait for your healers. Something like that. I'm also doing loots in Sapphire right now, and then there's me, Necro, and Drac who call the cooldown or the raid mechanics. We are bringing in a new Paladin tank, and he's going to be more taking over, I guess, basically what you would be doing in terms of call out Zai. So we do have designated like people who are supposed to talk during the raid, as opposed to like just having it be a free for all. And I would also suggest in the same way you make sure the raid knew who you only need like 2 or 3 people to call out any mechanics for like start, for instance. Like if you've always got the main tank calling out waves, and you've always got
what is this?
I think Kalari was calling out fissures in Sarth. So if you just have those 2 people, and if you want to add one of your own voices, or if you don't want to select who's calling these things out, that's fine too. And just make sure that everybody knows that those are the people that should be talking during an encounter. Unless you want to go, of course, that's how our raid works. We're really down to business. There's lots of raids that just, shit talk each other during the encounter too. And, a death or 3 doesn't really mind for them, but it kind of doesn't align with how Sapphire is.
That's another thing we
Fine.
haven't discussed is what are your expectations for this raid? How do you guys want it to go? Is this more of a casual thing, or is this something you want to propose?
We actually voted on that.
There's numbers, and then there's words for it.
I can
survey
elaborate a little
was
bit.
essentially between a 3.5 and a 4.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it's at.
Out of 5.
So 1 to 5, casual being 1, hardcore being 5. So you're looking at a semi-hardcore. People are caring about their parses. People are, they should be consuming. They should be with the tank. There shouldn't be any of this. You can absolutely, shit talk the whole time. You can say whatever you want. But when it comes down to business, like progress and things like that, you have a bunch of people in this raid that are very interested in making sure shit gets cleared, people are focused, and things happen. And I don't think you're going to find much of a problem with that. We're at a point in Nax where, of course, things are happening. People are, for lack of a better word, bored. Nax is kind of boring at this point. I mean, you throw up they're going for Immortal, people they can flip a switch for sure. But these are expectations that you ask us what we want for Ruby, and obviously we might want something else than what the officers deem is possible or what they want. And that's kind of like, it's a whole separate raid. It's not supposed to be, this is our split raid, this is our alt raid. This is supposed to be a separate raid from Sapphire, determined by its own independent values, who they want to bring on, what they want to do. So when I was leading it, I
It's casual
had
as
some goals in
fuck.
mind that
Casual
truthfully I was
as
not
fuck.
able to reach.
He was so
With the amount
casual.
of
Holy
bugs
shit.
and the things that were happening.
And that's why we
within
had
the
to
raid,
step in and save
and
Ruby
I
Raid.
couldn't push the envelope on going for that's my
But
bits and
fuck it.
pushing the envelope on watching logs and watching
Sometimes,
parses,
chat, when you gotta
watching
do
how
something, you
people
had to do
perform,
yourself,
and
you know?
that might
And I'm still not
convey
even gonna
or
raid in Ruby. I'm
place
literally
your
just
position in the raid.
ensuring
If
that
you
all the
were a
people are in the
bench
right
spot
parts.
versus a true roster, we're going to take you over the bench. And that's kind of where this officer position is looking towards. This is your call. Because I had my own wants and I wasn't able to achieve them because of XYZ reason. I'm pugging 5 people, XY, whatever it is. I don't want to just talk with no intent. But these things are not necessarily our decision. It's the people that take over and are part of Ruby. It's their call.
Okay, so the survey quantified it 3.5 out of 5. That lands semi-hardcore. That's where Sapphire originally started. At this point, it's going to go in the direction that you gentlemen are going to wish for it to go. If you want it to get refined and faster and smoother, then you're gonna make those calls. You're going to ask for people to improve their performance, ensure that they don't have more like consistent deaths or low parts on specific fight. So that's going to be your general direction from like that henceforth, actually.
Yep. So let me just double check Ninja Quickies and Did you get tagged Ruby Officer in the Ruby Officer text chat? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Cool. So I posted a short-term goals. So I don't know whenever we want to meet, like more specifically on a time, but I think these are like the steps to go forward and kind of the first things we want to knock out, just to ensure we're kind of in a good place.
Yeah, I'm gonna chat again if you guys wanted to get together another day before next raid.
For sure.
Jesus Christ, my fucking internet just decided to go down during this meeting, and I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Well, and just while we're on the subject, real quick, I'm curious to hear what Quickies and Ninja's thoughts are on the level of our raid. I guess in my mind, I want to clear content. I want to do all the content. I want to min-max like 90%. You know, I'm not looking to make our raiders choose certain professions. You know, I'm not looking to speed run if that's a thing in Old War. You know, all of that. But you know, I want to clear all this stuff. I want to do it fast. You know, I want to have fun, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. You know, like tonight's raid. I think everyone seemed like they were probably parsing in 75th plus percentile, and yeah, I'm good with semi-hardcore. You know, like I don't care if everyone's parsing 99s and throwing sapper charges at all the right times, but same thing. I want to clear stuff and have no problem progressing through content.
Nice.
I think the big thing is just looking ahead to Ulduar. That's really the main thing to focus on it. And just I did do pretty much all day Saturday. I was in PTR Ulduar. I would say like we start thinking about which bosses we try to do the hard mode on first week and which ones we maybe don't, and just I don't know, like we don't have to dive into the nuts and bolts of that right now, but I do have a few in mind that it's like this is probably realistic for our raid, and this is something that maybe like 2 or 3 weeks in would be realistic, but maybe not the first week. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, that's 100%. I mean, that's even where Sapphire's at, because you're getting this pre-nerf version of Ulduar where things are not going to come they're not going to come freely. There's going to be fights that just simply won't happen without the item level, the gear to make them happen.
Yes.
Ulduar is one of those big ones.
Fuck, I hate having speakers, chat. I hate putting it on speakers.
Do you have the gear?
Because then there's reverb, you know, chat? And so I hate pressing it down.
There's skills that will, and there's skills that won't. And nothing wrong either side. It's just that making that decision, and you have to have. It's 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to do it, and that's 266. Yeah, regardless, that is what Quickies is saying is that this is what's going to be part of that responsibility of deciding what Ruby is going to be able to push week 1 and what you probably shouldn't slam your head against a wall for.
Yeah, I think just off the cuff, I think like not Flame Leviathan, but the boss that's down there on the left after you get past Flame Leviathan, the guy who's got
Igneous.
Yeah, Igneous. I think he's probably one that we could do, and then Thorin is probably one.
He doesn't have a hard.
Yeah, Ignis is after this last PTR. Ignis, Razor Scale, they're kind of free. Kolaghan's gonna be pretty free, but Flame Leviathan, I mean, that's like the first one you have to decide is, does your raid have the item level, the coordination to make this hard mode? And it's also not one worth slamming your head against if you want to do Alagon week 1 type thing, because he's not part of that list that you have to clear. Got great loot, but
My recommendation, that's exactly what you should be doing, figuring out which hard modes you need to compromise on, and you should probably compromise on every single one except Thorin week 1.
Thorm's pretty easy. It's just position.
Yeah, I agree. Like, because I think getting repetitions and getting familiarity with like how some of the mechanics work, especially like on Flame Leviathan. Like, I watched so many people derp out on in their like vehicles. It was unreal.
Yeah, so each hard mode's going to take you 4 to 5 hours just to get probably to master. So,
I mean,
trust.
I don't think Flame Leviathan is that bad, but
it's like XT is literally you either have the DPS or you don't. I mean, if we have the roster we had tonight,
especially with a 6-minute enrage, like you might be able to get down the heart with a lust, but if you can't do the other 6 minutes,
I think you're fine. It should be fine.
I don't think XT will be a challenging one, personally.
Well, it's just
disagree. But this is the same conversations that's going to go on.
The 25 man is way higher than the 10. I heard.
Yeah, all the 10 man stuff's pretty easy from what I hear for the most part.
Like it was, yeah, we hard loaded the 10 man, but I've seen some 25s. It seems like it's a lot tighter on that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's focus back on like Ruby leadership. do you guys have any concerns about like having enough power to get what you need done? Are you kind of maybe a little bit unsure of like what you need to do next or anything like that? I guess.
Well, it feels like we should probably solidify the roster, right? That should be probably one of the first priorities.
A good idea. I'll add that to the list of things to do.
And they need the ability to recruit.
That's like a great idea of what to do next. And like I said, I can help, I can give my voice, but I don't think that's my decision at this point. I'll be in this Ruby officer chat, and I'll give any help that I possibly can. But at the end of the day,
pick your brain on like who's consistently not showing up, and maybe kind of some of those things too.
So I'm sharing my screen again here, and this is what we have kind of built for looking at Sapphire roster. So I always am putting this together and posting it in the Sapphire sign up sheet room that gets created. You'll want to probably have something like this. Now, do you guys want to go and build out your own little Google Docs for it, or do you want to a little copy pasta?
I already copied your P2 one, and so I mean we can share that out and kind of start putting the pieces in there and just talking about that.
Perfect.
If you want to post that in the Ruby Oxford text, then you can also pin it, and then it'll be easy to find for future reference too.
and I'll be like I said, I'm here. I've said that I will do the quote unquote back end rate leading for the rest of the year. But beyond that too, it's obviously I'm not just going to disappear and say that there's nothing I can do for you at this point. But I'm willing to take on this and help guide the process to be a little bit less of just a here you go, take it all on type of situation. But I think the roster is going to be one of the biggest things that is going to be decided by you guys. We can go look at the logs. We can have a night where we look at the logs, see who's doing what, see what the performance is, and it doesn't have to be decided in one night based on one raid night or two raid nights. That's also kind of part of what we're looking for, is what the expectations are, what you guys are hoping for from people. These are there's quite a few different things to look at there. You can't just always say one night is one person's best.
Yeah, for sure. I think we could almost take the rest of Nax phase to make those decisions. The loot decision, the roster decision, because ultimately those don't matter now in Nax, So we can help with who's being benched and that sort of thing, but not have an official roster, not necessarily have an official loot system in place.
I honestly kind of thought that's how it would be at the moment.
We sort of want to figure.
Yeah, someone would be a solid raid leader at this moment.
Well, people.
So definitely a solid raid leader, but I mean, are we really going to try to implement a loot council right now when everybody's fully geared?
There's 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, you might be able to say a few items. It's if you truly have the depth and want to look at it, these items are super key. These items don't necessarily matter, but I mean, if you want to look at it to that point for these next couple of weeks, because we don't have a definitive date, but it's looming. It's 5 to 6 weeks, right?
And I think a lot of people in this raid would like to see, or at least have some clarification on what direction we're heading, so they have an opportunity to decide if it's for them, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. No, I definitely think that's a good idea. It just, I think there definitely needs to be some discussion on a lot of that stuff, and it may take a little bit of time.
I do want to clarify for you, Zai. There was this, like I said, this is what I was that role. And I don't know if it was necessarily described to you, but due to other factors, I am stepping away. So that's why I'm trying to bring all these people in, find someone find a way forward for this team, because I would absolutely hate. It was the last thing that I would ever want to see this team hit the iceberg and crack in half and sink. That's
My
the
God,
last thing I
Neko, you're
want.
so dramatic, bro. Let's just keep
I'm
going.
dramatic as fuck.
This is
dude.
like the fourth
I don't-
fucking.
I mean, oh yeah, and we'll definitely have a. Yeah, we'll definitely have a raid lead by next week. It's more so those loot decisions and the roster decisions.
Can't take it
that can
anymore,
take some
chat.
time.
It's like, you know, like
Yeah, that's fine. You can
we
build
got
that.
all these people. He didn't even
Just,
recruit a single person currently in chat. We got them all.
Yeah,
But
next
I'm
week
not trying
we're
to
gonna
embarrass
just be
him. You know what I mean? He's the boy.
Let's just do
He's
this,
the boy,
you know?
and you don't
We'll
embarrass the
have it.
boys.
We'll have a decision on that sort of thing.
To be completely
You don't
fair,
embarrass the boys.
that's kind of what happened tonight. I said my few voices, but Nax is one of those things where it doesn't necessarily matter. The big thing is,
it kind of runs itself.
You need Oldawar, you need the voice, you need those voices. I don't want to say just the one voice, because I mean we've got two healers in here, and having you two as voices is huge. Because I can't say as a tank in Sapphire how much it means to have a voice from the healer core, hearing someone giving feedback. The main tank can say all the shit they want. They need the feedback from the healer. And so all these voices are very important. So I don't want to say one voice rules all, but there does need to be someone obviously guiding.
Man, why is
Yeah,
all this pillow
navigating,
talk? It's so much
punching
fluff.
in the Google coordinates where you're going.
We know what
But
they want.
yes,
We need a full-time raid lead.
there need- yeah.
So just
You
need to
know,
figure out the loot.
Shut
Or
up.
leave me to the promise.
Yeah, that's all fine. And next is a good time to do that. To like kind of lock it down.
Okay,
Show,
so
people your expectations, you know.
a couple final thoughts real quick. You guys will discuss your LC or whatever loot system you want. You guys will discuss that additional like full-time voice within raid that's necessary for explanations, for guidance, for discipline at times. And then on our intro, we need to give them a rank within guild with the ability to recruit, and then also the capacity to create raid signups or whatever, etc. in Discord, so then they could begin forming the raid this coming week, for example.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think we'll probably need. I personally need some training on the raid signups in Discord. Haven't ever done that, so
I got you because I was right there with you. I had no idea what I was doing.
All right, everyone watch my screen. Quick little go at it. /create. Enter.
You get a whisper.
Boom. You got a raid helper. You're gonna go 4 for Wrath Classic here.
When you're the top G, you don't have to say anything, chat.
You gotta enter.
You just let everyone else take care of it. You let the little people handle the minions. You know what I mean, chat? When you're the
You can
top
skip if
G.
you want. You can skip like all of this. I just default this for which channel it's being posted in. Enter the date. This is the date of the raid.
This shit is
So, for instance, the next Sapphire raid is going to be the
Where's my
14th of
warlock?
December.
Oh,
So we're going to do something like this.
That's not good.
Our raid time. Just make sure you look at the actual time. This is like my home time right now. This is server time, but I know I just have to put in 1800 hours. And then you can like finish it, and then it's gonna post, and everyone's gonna freak out and be like, "Whoa, why is this here?"
I was about to go sign up. I heard the
Yep. If you have any
Yeah, I mean,
questions further about that, I know I went through really fast. Hit me up. I like helping people.
I don't, so don't bother me.
Sounds good.
Just kidding, guys. All right, well, I appreciate you all coming in and taking the time, dudes. I really fucking think you're going to be a saving grace for all of Ruby, so I super appreciate you guys.
And I'm here for pulling us in tonight.
yeah.
I mean, is there any last little quick things? Anything that's picking someone's brain?
Yeah, I think goal for before next week is to come up with who's going to be that voice in the raid. And then, we can always talk about loot systems and everything else.
What times work well for you guys? So I tend to raid in another guild on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I'm sorry, on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So like Fridays and Saturdays are good times for me to chat more if we can get together in the evening or even Sundays. Just sometime that we can try and reconvene to have some of these conversations, or at least start putting things on paper a little bit.
Yeah, maybe if we just want to have that discussion in the chat, so we're not holding everyone up. Because my schedule's really wonky with holiday stuff going on, but I think between the three of us, we can come up with something.
Raffle Gator good
too.
notes.
Don't
Raffle Gator
exclude
notes in
me,
the
but
chat. Raffle Gator.
I'll hop in. I'll give
Soda
my 2
subs.
cents if that's
Soda
what you
subs
wanna
in the
hear.
chat. Can we get some soda subs in the chat?
Sounds good.
And so will Shro and Terror. We're not exclusively Sapphire. We're very efficient based in the wanting to see efficient succeed. So
Yeah, like
any
if you want
questions?
to take the initiative and go onto White Main Discord and get officer privileges so you could begin posting for your own recruitment, it's fine. If not, reach out to Shro and I, and we could always augment our posts so we include whatever your needs are, so we could help you with that process.
Yeah, honestly, like it helps. I think that's a great idea, just because the standpoint of like the Sapphire raid is pretty established, and I think that lends a lot of credibility to the Ruby raid. So I don't know. Definitely, when I was looking at recruitment, that was one of the things that I was confident on. So I think a lot of people.
I was all fully advertising Ruby. I never really mentioned much about Sapphire, which might have played a little into my downfall. But all I'm saying is that you have a very strong officer corps, and you have a strong sister raid that wants to support this raid and wants to see it succeed. So do not feel like you cannot mention that. I just didn't want to necessarily say Sapphire, because Sapphire to me is like they're upper echelon and they're doing a lot, and I didn't want to necessarily compare because I didn't know the full outcome. But I fully feel Ruby has the strong potential and the ability to push the same ideals and the same clear times, things like that. So
You guys won't believe me, but I always said Ruby was going to be Sapphire. I always said it.
Yeah, you did. And I won't finish that sentence. And then you quit. I did it.
Nah, baby, I'm always here for Ruby.
Not to cut this short, but I was getting tattooed for like 6 hours today, so I gotta take.
Yeah, no. Well, I said like 15 to 20 minutes. I'm glad that you guys all came tonight. I think we had a pretty good discussion, and I think there's more to come in the Ruby officer text. You guys gotta hop out. Thank you all for coming. I feel pretty good about what we talked about tonight. Thank you.
Thank you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Good night, fellas.
See you guys.
And Zai, thank you for stepping in the main tank role tonight. I know I was a little bit of a voice on a shoulder, but I think you did very well in calming and all that. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll get it a bit more in the future as well.
Absolutely.
Well done. Oh, is that raid channel locked? I didn't know if anyone's there to chat.
Shouldn't be. You should be able to hop back over there.
Al, you were kind of absent for a lot of that. I know you said that you didn't. I'm not blaming you. I know you said you don't have too much interest, but I mean.
Did you read my note?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
It's like I don't think.
To me, that says if you really need. How I read that, I'll say, is if you really need it, but I don't necessarily want to do it. That's kind of how I feel about that.
I know. At least currently, I know I wouldn't be good as like the raid leader per se, but like I'm good with coming up with strategies. I'm good with like, hey, XYZ happened, blah blah blah, void zone, etc., and all that jazz. So I'm like more of like I'm good at being the support behind the throne. Is what I'm trying to say.
So I think that makes a great person to potentially be in that officer chat in my eyes, especially You know what you witnessed the other night.
Yeah. I mean,
That can fill that kind of role.
What's up, bitches?
Yeah, what's up? Telling the boys about the chat.
Oh, hell yeah.
Too much food up, Robert? Nah, I think 10 wants to be made lead.
No, it's okay.
When I'm happy to come in and take and do some call out, but I'll let someone else be the leader.
Guys want to do a little bit of keys in a bit?
Yeah, Rob, you want to do some keys? Nah. Said fuck.
Said no.
Said fuck you, Jay.
Said no thanks. Said okay.
What are the keys, like retail?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Is that a retail character?
I haven't played since BFA.
Oh.
Mine's even further than that, but I'm about to hit level 70 in about 20 minutes.
Nice. Those drag theory things look pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's okay.
Yeah, I thought they would do better.
And the gameplay is like, at least for DPS, it's really like mindless. It's like, oh, my proc came up. I better press that button.
So Wrath of the Lich King Mage.
Hey, we got to make this guy.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
I can't say anything. This priest is the easiest class in the history of man.
Oh my god, people are selling keys. Key runs are Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
There's a market for it.
I guess people have plenty of money to burn in retail. Probably like tens of millions of gold.
I don't understand why you buy a bunch of WoW money if you sucked at it so bad you need to buy runs anyways.
Most people probably didn't buy it. I got most of that from WoD.
Waiting for a long time.
You guys want to run a key?
I'm in the middle of a +2 Ruby with my guild, but after that I'm free and done.
Me too. Okay.
I know, I was like, yeah, fucking guild, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, my little guild that gives me free flasks and shit.
Guild gives you free flasks?
Yeah, I got open bank. I got full access to the guild bank.
You just
talk
walk
to them?
right into that guild and start taking their shit.
Yeah, I talked to him. It's like a little 5-man guild.
Talk to them when they need something, huh?
Oh man, they're really gonna miss you if you leave then, huh?
Yeah, I'm their main tank.
He's just breaking hearts, breaking banks, and breaking hearts.
You're the
Their main tank. Yeah. Raided banks and
You gonna raid with them? 5 man?
they asked me if I wanted to be the main tank for their raid tonight. Said I don't know. I'm pretty wrapped up in Wrath of Lich King right now.
Oh, is the raid open? Shit, I didn't even know.
Yeah. It's open. Season 1's officially underway.
Maybe I'll go do that. No, I'm kind of tired.
All right, chat.
Wait,
I
you
don't
got
really know
Puppy
these
Raid day
guys.
one?
They're new into Ruby
Yeah,
Raid,
I
which
had
is
fucking
like
3 sevens, dude.
I think you're
legit.
good.
It's all in the family.
I mean,
Things
you have
working
like
out.
6, but
I kind of forgot I was on stream, to be honest.
Tell X you want to run it.
And
I told her
He's been asking us to run it for.
I poked.
Yeah,
I
I told
picked
him I
my
wanted. I
nose.
was interested.
Say less.
Yeah, but pugging is no commitment.
Oh my god.
If I
Was I
don't
being
like it, I can
cringe?
just leave.
Was I being cringe at one point?
You just
Oh
in your
my.
guild
Say
when you
less.
tank for them.
Yeah,
Man,
but I like these
Yeah,
guys.
what the fuck?
These
Jay?
emotes are nice.
I like these guys, you know?
You're Scarab Lord leveling? I am not Scarab Lord leveling right now. I'm chilling. I was
I don't
actually
know, but they're cool, but they want me around, so.
about to log for a minute. I'm talking to
That's the most
I'm
important
talking to
thing.
Payne right now.
the battle when it comes
I'm
to
talking
hanging
to
out with
Payne
me.
about
You want me there? Alright.
March, I
Yeah,
guess, G quit. So it's like this
Did you guys
old
have a
guild we were in.
rotating bench for Sapphire?
GMs quit. I don't know what happened. Drama.
not really rotating bench at all. It's basically what we've been doing is like if we ever had a call out, we like quote unquote trial a new guy. That's kind of how we do it in a sense.
That sounds scummy. We're actually trialing people. Yeah, we're actually trialing people. Like we've been actively trying to improve certain.
Right. I guess what I like. It's been the case that like we've been actively trialing and getting them in, and they've been filling the spots that would have been called or that are being called up by regular raiders.
Yeah, it's just a convenient coincidence.
I know we have a bench. Like we have tiny big bones raids for us a lot. We've had Windora in the past. Like there's quite a few of and Calari too has come. So like people in Ruby that like joined Ruby first instead of Sapphire. So like Ruby was first like a home for Saph alts, and then now it's something much more than that. And so now it's like if there's alts from Ruby that want to fill in for Sapphire, so every once in a while I'll make a call to the at Ruby squad, and someone will reach back out to me and be like, yeah, I'd be down to raid Sapphire Wednesday rather. So we've got that symbiotic relationship.
See how it works. Yeah, you kind of made it sound like for
the B team.
I was gonna say, you kind of made it sound like for a second that hey, you've been with us for 30 years, but you miss one day of work and you're gone.
No, it's not like that. But
Did they really fall
I
apart?
guess
Sorry, Chad.
Yeah,
I need a third computer screen. I don't even see
Yeah, it
you.
was
I don't
kinda
have
nice.
OBS up ever. Let's see.
Fell in one day and filling
March.
in, and then
Yeah, exactly. March is gone.
Above.
I don't know what happened.
One day I'm a pug. Next
Did
week
he
I'm
tell
immortal.
you? Did he tell you that he clicks?
Oh, now he's gone. See, you shouldn't be outing him like that. No, I'm just kidding. The worst is keyboard turners. Keep turning.
He does that too.
Oh, I click all of my screen and keyboard turn.
Like 2 hands on the keyboard.
And
Doesn't
he
even
uses
have
a
a mouse.
trackball mouse.
Yeah.
Like
Trackball
a
mouse.
ball that he's got to
Yeah.
clean out. Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Grab your keyboard turner. What? You're a keyboard turner?
2 hands on the board? No, I just use WASD.
Oh, okay.
I think a long time ago I used to use the arrow keys on the right side of the keyboard. Maybe when I was like
No. WASD is still keyboard turn.
He means like, do you
use your
use?
mouse?
Yeah, do you use your right finger button while moving?
yeah, just
Is
spin the
your-
camera around.
Is your A and D set to strafe or is it set to turn your character?
Dude, A and D
just
are
spin to the
bound
swivel.
abilities for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
continually
WASD.
moves forward.
Oh,
Yeah, WASD are all movement buttons for me. And then I
No,
use
I
my
strafe.
right button.
I
Just spin
strafe.
my camera.
I strafe with Q and E.
I don't think it really matters how I play. Like better than 95%. That's my long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do whatever the fuck you want, dude.
I've been with you for years. Whatever you do is working. So
99 parser.
Probably could have been better, but we kind of ended up at a not so great guild. They're all fun people to play with, but just wasn't super focused on the tasks at hand.
Or open to criticism. Oh,
Yeah.
that's what we love to do here.
that's where it kind of like people have to be somewhat mature, and be open to coaching and constructive criticism. I don't know. Humans that are closed off to that are just kind of they've stopped growing in general. It's kind of sad.
Or Z and Zers.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we kind of just had one guy running the entire show, so he had a lot of stress.
Yeah, he did.
Let's say that. Yeah.
That's the worst.
There's also a lot of people that would get butthurt over some silliness. With drama, as per usual.
Sure. Did you post logs for this evening?
So that was my first raid on my character, and in typical form, I didn't have the auto logging add-on auto logging, so I didn't actually get for tonight.
you got a lot of stuff tonight.
I think someone did.
Yeah, it's not possible that you
Someone
didn't.
did, but I didn't post it.
Okay, let me check. Let me check because I'm super curious.
This is my first time with disc, so don't judge.
My eye level in some fights is okay, but other fights is, I don't know, the eye level I'm at right now is just too wonky to actually see where I'm truly at.
Oh, chat, you guys are lucky you're not watching this.
Let's see, how
Okay,
many
it's-
bisque pieces did I get tonight?
I have so many freaking things going on. Okay, I gotta log off this character. Log off.
I
Close
guess
that
technically
whole
just the chess piece.
application. You only got the chess piece tonight?
Well, I got a shit ton of loot. I'm talking about like final bisque pieces.
Oh.
I mean, I got the stupid Faralina's Mask socketless helmet. I got Chains of Adoration healing neck. Pre-tier shoulders. I already have Death Chill. I've got chest piece. I have badge wrists, Titan Steel Spell Blade, some random offhand. I got the Gemmed Wand and the Plague Igniter. So I've got a hit one and a non-hit. Just
That is cool.
I'm dead in the trinkets area, so I need to run actually 10 man. Well, 10 man for Spider, and I should do a Violet Hold. I actually got Lost Jewels, so that was dope. And then I bought the Band of Channeled Magic, so my rings are pretty sick right now.
I'm gonna 0 for 10 on that fucking trinket and Violet Hold.
Yeah, that was
So frustrated. I'm so frustrated. I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, chat. Is there a way I could show you this?
On what?
So you guys don't have to see the boring stuff? Okay, let me see
Oh, they're
chat.
lost? Yeah.
I feel like I didn't play that good
And
tonight.
yeah, Pain does have the
I
team.
feel like I wasn't playing well tonight.
We're gonna have to give our old buddy, old
Yeah, I
pal
think
Pain
next
to
week-
give
I
us
think
a
you all
scoop.
did great tonight.
Where?
Yeah, that's supposed to overall pretty good. Just
Add
patchwork and KT.
browser?
KT definitely was pretty messy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think next week on patchwork we'll do the island strategy. That'll make that much cleaner, much easier to do.
How do I make this so it's just my Chrome?
It's kind of funny. Last time on Sapphire, we tried to run towards Patrick through Frogger, and we couldn't break combat because there was a slime chasing us from that slime room all the way. It took us too long to figure it out, so we didn't actually take him on the other side of Frogger. We had to like run through back and fro from Frogger. and it was
Sorry,
like
chat. I'm learning. This one has its eye closed. How do I open its
It's
eye?
pretty impressive how many different strategies there are for quite a few bosses.
Oh,
in
I
that.
got it.
There's just no simple set way to do every one of them.
Hold on, this one says Chrome. Oh,
Jay, you still in the dungeon?
snap, chat. Look at that.
We're about to start second
Holy
boss.
shit. Click it.
You want to run a key tip?
Click again.
You want to do something, Tyler?
I can make it bigger.
No, I wanted to hear.
Oh, shit.
We're pretty well overall.
Tyler doesn't care about us.
How do I make this so it's like...
Harry, do you want to do a Violet Hold with me?
Yeah, let me log in.
Well, like I said, I don't really want to do keys right now. I would rather do like zeros to wrap up my gaming. I'm down to do zero.
You can do zero.
I need a key anyway, so my value.
Okay.
You run zero.
That's
Tyler.
honestly not too bad overall. Trash Can Matt did pretty well. Thrill Blast.
What do you want to run?
Yeah, what do you need, Tyler?
All right.
We'll run it for you.
Percy Purple.
Academy.
Okay.
Good.
So Ninja and Giggles and Wog.
I'll bring my team in after because I'm like really
I
pushed
am
out.
logging in into my Warlock. Are you guys able to see my other World of Warcraft chat? No, huh? Man, how do I show you my other World of Warcraft? I have an idea, chat.
Okay, Jay and I will pound keys tonight then.
Yes, we will. You got plus 10?
It's just the way it's gotta go, chat.
No, I don't think so. Plus 8 was really hard.
Was it though? Like, is
Well,
it
what's happening in there?
Like, was it actually hard though, or did we just have some problem people?
I just had to pull less. It's a pretty rough dungeon. No.
What's happening, chat?
Pulling that big at the end, and we're still getting dookied on.
Was it a healer problem?
No, I don't. I think we just didn't know what was going on in the dungeon. First time we've seen that dungeon since Pandas.
Okay.
It's someone's fault. We gotta figure out whose fault it was.
Oh, yeah, it's always someone's fault.
Okay, Eric wasn't healing the people with the dot on them.
Oh, we didn't even know we could dispel that until. the
Oh
end
my
of the
fucking god!
dungeon.
I was like, dude, can you not dispel this? He's like, I can't dispel magic. I'm like, that doesn't sound right, but okay.
Why is this not working?
Yeah, you can.
I think my
You playing,
computer is
Vito?
crashing.
I am right now.
I got too many things going on.
Priest,
There
baby.
you go.
Hide Chrome, only log showing. Okay, hiding Chrome.
Oh, healing or DPSing?
Healing.
Anyways,
Oh,
we're good on
man,
looking
got
at
another healer in the
what was this,
pocket.
Chrome?
Yeah. Maybe one that can actually read.
Oh, BIS.
Oh,
Okay.
give me too much credit now. Hey.
One that believes in global warming.
One that doesn't think that. Just-
Okay.
Well, I know I can dispel magic, so.
Good start.
How do I show this?
Yeah, that's very important.
How do I show this game? Video.
Though they did mix the buttons around.
game.
The thing that used to like dispel disease
chat.
is the dispel magic button, which I was confused at first. I
I'm
was
back,
like,
chat. I'm back. I'm back. Oh, crap. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Did my
But I think
rogue
I'm
DC?
I'm definitely not the right spec because I was leveling, so my specs all fucked up.
Did my rogue DC?
Can't believe Peters is gonna be our new raid
Bro.
leader. That's awesome.
Hey, great to hear, Eaters. Thanks for taking on that role, man.
Kidding me?
Can you go ahead and like promote him in the guild? Just to give him that tag.
I'll do my best, right?
You're the leader now.
As long as you don't images on the patchwork, we're fine.
Ruby raid leader.
Well, we don't have secrets
Congratulations.
anymore, so.
Oh, that's yeah.
See bads.
God, he was so bad, man.
Alright. These guys sound pumped about being Ruby raid leads, which is great.
Oh, let me switch.
I need people being happy. Don't worry
Wait, is this normal?
about a thing.
That's right.
Boy, every little thing is gonna be alright. Oh,
Hey, if you guys haven't
don't
checked that Dragonflight
worry.
yet, it's actually pretty fun.
I think
I
I'm
have, like,
crashing because
zero
of all this
interest.
shit I'm doing.
Phil just started playing it.
It's actually pretty
Right,
fun.
you would.
Oh, so we have fun now.
It doesn't take too long to level either.
Yeah, it's really easy to
Oh
like pound
man,
up,
I gotta
like, up
close
70.
this.
Yeah, it was.
I think my
I
whole
was
computer's
like,
crashing.
Because I wasn't realize that the fun of the game isn't leveling; it's doing the end game shit. So.
Man, the fun of the game is like actual content.
This is bad, chat. Am
There
I
you go.
gonna,
Start doing push to talk and raid.
am I gonna lose my boost because I can't
No.
do this violet hold?
Well, actually,
My-
I thought I'm usually muted.
My
I
alt
thought
is DC'd. Crap. My computer sucks, chat. My second WoW window crashed. And now what you see before you is...
Can get some.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, probably thank you. So nice. Here we go. Jesus.
Here we go, chat. We're
Wow,
going
oh
back.
my God.
Oh, shit. Wrong password. Dang it. Wife.
Gotta check that out.
Okay, here we go.
What the fuck is that?
Beautiful wife. Beautiful wife for life.
How'd you get that?
Man, I got a connection who crafted it for me. He was gonna do it free, but I felt bad taking it for free, so I threw him 30 grand.
How do I get one of those?
I have a guy.
Oh, he knows a guy. Knows a
I know, I got a guy, yeah.
You sound like you,
Dumpster.
you're buying that from Victor Bout, that dude we just gave away for the women's basketball player.
I know, that's some crazy shit.
Bro, I feel like we got ripped the fuck off right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
just
not a good deal.
a gun dealer for a stupid retard that took drugs in fucking Russia.
Like, we couldn't get two people, you know what I mean? Oh,
It's
God.
crazy, man.
That guy can craft elemental lariat Rob at max quality. So if you can get the mats for him, he'll craft it for you. Just tell him I referred you.
And you get a finder's fee of 8%.
No, just being nice, you know.
Oh, shit. I gotta run out.
Got a
I'm
man.
in, chat.
Mark, are you 80 yet or 70 yet?
I'll be 70 in probably 10 minutes, maybe 15.
You go do a regular dungeon, then he should be ready.
Sorry, sure, I'm here, but I'm not here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hired you to do damage. Should
Hold on,
not be
hold on.
damaging you.
My other account crashed. I'm back in now, though. Give me a second. Give me a second.
I don't like the unit frames, honestly, though. I don't know if I need to mess with them or what, but they're a little weird for me.
Fuck, chat. Fuck. So embarrassing. You guys are seeing me do nothing. I look like I'm AFK, huh, chat? Because of what? I'm talking to you or something? No? You freaks? I'm trying to zone out of Dractheron Keep so I could zone back in
It's nice meeting you boys tonight.
so I can get
See you
loot.
guys probably next week for raid. Or
Yeah, catch you later, dude.
Yeah, peace.
Have a good night, man. Don't worry. Okay, he's giving me a ready check. I'm in. Alright, I'm finally in the AFK spot. Let's go. Okay.
Do you have like a good idea generally how long your dots are gonna last? Like, do you know when not to dot?
I have a weak aura that like shows me all of my important dots wherever I want them placed, and it's like right on top of my character.
But like, do you know generally how fast something dies and whether or not you should dot it or not?
My rule of thumb is if it's past 10%, so in that it'll be different in Noldor, right? But usually if it's past 10%, like don't Curse of Agony. Agony doesn't scale until it gets to the end. And so it's not worth the additional because it's not going to last the full timer, right? And so there's certain GCDs where it's just save it for another soul, your execute hit, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
Did you use Infernos?
I used it 3 times.
And the possibility.
I don't know. I shouldn't have been doing loot. Honestly, like it was just a lot during the raid.
Well, yeah, where you're trying to learn a new thing, I can imagine you got overwhelmed.
So you're gonna main Lockwood in Noldor?
I'm making it as an option. Right now I've got a really beastly road. And I mean it's not a hard rotation by any means, but I'm doing really well at it. But there might be a room for me to go lock in Noldor, yeah.
Hey, are we going PTR tomorrow night after raid?
Sure.
You gonna try?
It's the game plan. Count on it.
Was there instructions how to get that set up somewhere around here?
There is a PTR notes channel a little bit down somewhere.
Oh, is
it has a couple suggestions on like transferring keybinds, transferring macros, and then transferring add-ons. And if you need any other help, let me know.
Okay. I mean, do you install it through the BattleNet launcher?
Yeah, so if you like, I think you might have to. You might have to if you don't see it on the BattleNet launcher, you might have to go to your BattleNet account and like.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
Get it started up or something. I know someone else couldn't see it on his BattleNet launcher, and he had to go into his BattleNet account online and like enable it or something.
It should be in your BattleNet launcher under the in development. It's going to be specifically Public Test Realm Wrath Classic.
Okay. All right, I'll look into it, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow night.
Later, Chief.
Cool. Okay. Later, boys.
Later,
I was leveling my wife's rogue all day today.
Yeah, I saw you on that.
I'm almost 75, dude. I almost got 5 levels today with this buff.
Dude, I should have waited. Nah, then I would have not got it this raid. I mean, I could have done another raid, but I got it on like the last 60% of level 79 to 80, and it was just like quests giving me 50,000 experience. Pretty good.
That is fat.
Do you have a time till death?
Nope. Although when I'm playing AF, I will. The only bosses that I consider in times till death scenarios are 1 minute, and that's for my Curse of Doom. So like bosses that we kill faster than 1 minute are Grand Widow, Anu Barak, Noth.
What's better, Curse of Agony for a minute or Curse of Doom for a minute?
Aflox use Curse of Agony. Why? I don't know. But they don't Doom.
I don't like any weak or support on this Warlock right now either.
I would verify the Doom thing. Like we can go through, but I'm pretty sure on longer fights, probably check like KT Thaddeus.
I know Wildhead says to not use Doom and to use Curse of Agony.
On KT's, I mean Thaddeus is one of those funny ones where you get buffed by the raid and it's like 110%, 120%, and if you use that on a Doom, that's where like it starts being a little funny, right? I don't know.
You just get the value on the. Well, I guess you want to make sure. I guess if you're putting new dots up that it's a little different. It's kind of crazy how different it is. Well, maybe it's not crazy how different it is in Rogue, but in Rogue, I pool energy. I use all my energy right before the swap, and then I pool energy until I get my damage buff back, and then I dump my energy. But for Warlocks, what would I do?
In what regards?
Yeah, like you wouldn't want to hit like renew a dot when you're not getting the 120% extra damage, right?
120%.
Like, what do you do when you're changing polarity? Do you just keep?
No, I don't
casting
renew
Shadow
a
Bolts?
dot. No, yeah, what the fuck? I'm gonna renew my whole dot set? No. Yeah, I mean, that's when I will switch my
Like a
curse.
dot falls off, right? And
So
you're
like
in the middle of
when I start Thaddeus, I do open with a curse, but that's only because Curse of Doom has a 1 minute cooldown, and I want to snapshot Curse of Doom with my 120% buff. And so in that situation, yes, but only Doom. I won't reapply every single. I won't basically clip my dots even with that buff. Like it's not worth it. I'll just let them ride out. It's gonna be what 10 seconds. And then plus, it allows me to just continue with my rotation, which is perfect. Aflox, I think, are... I don't know, they kind of have little... As long as you have a weak aura keeping track of your dots, it's really hard to mess up that rotation. Ooh, Leviathan's talisman dropped.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect, but I think I parsed around like mid 80s, but my gear's not super strong either, so.
Well, that's stronger than our Aflox.
So that you just need to know at 35 you have to reapply, no matter what, you have to reapply corruption. Because it has, you get I forget what the name of the fucking buff is after they're below 35% health.
Yeah, so there's that, but like
health, you always.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Death's Demise or whatever. That's the only time. Yeah, 35% for corruption specifically.
Otherwise, corruption will be up all the time. You never have to reapply it, unless like you get hit by something or something. Like something happens where you.
Is it 10? How much damage is it?
Corruption.
Death's Embrace.
Oh, it's 15% increase. I'm not 100% sure actually.
I should go find that again.
I just know no matter what, that's the first thing you apply at 35%.
Uh-oh.
And at 25, you obviously do Drain Soul. If I'm in Drain Soul,
Chat.
Your damage done by your shadow souls by 12%.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so it's 12%.
Chat, we've been...
So I guess if you go to tricks at the right time...
We've been breached, chat. We've been
tricks,
breached.
you wouldn't have to
Chat, we've been breached.
Does it fucking tells you?
Oh my.
I wouldn't count on that unless you're... Well,
We've
I
been
guess you
breached.
could.
In Sapphire...
We've been breached, chat.
Or less.
Oh my. Cancel stream. Deuce, chat. Good night.
We've
Love
got
y'all.
trace assignments in Sapphire.
World of Warcraft for life.